Again, if you have multiple projects and you want to take your recent project, then you can very well take it from here. So that's another option we have. And coming back to this one, the new project. So I'm going to create a new project, which is Neoload. Yeah, and just to let you know, when you are creating a file, please make sure you're not using minus or the hyphen, I would say. It'll tell you that the project name is invalid. So always use either can you do not use any spaces, or you can use underscore. Let me give the name as Neoload training, and I'm going to create it under this. Okay, let me just take it, choose a different location. And Neoload. Yep. You can either use that and then the change server settings. So in case if you are someone who wants to integrate your project to a GitHub or something, you can very well use this as well. And it's not just GitHub, we can actually use it with several other uh, GitHub, Azure DevOps, or GitLab, or whatever it is, like any other collaboration way, we can actually do that as well. So that you can, what happens is like whenever the developer completes Raven, sorry, I missed your question. Does Neoload support multi-protocol like Roadrunner? Neoload actually supports multiple protocol, but not at the same script like what Loadrunner does. Because in Loadrunner, yes, we all know you can start with one protocol and then you can navigate through other protocols. And once you select them, like for example, you can go with web applications, tricks, mainframes, and anything is possible. But here, that particular option is not here. Like I told you, right? This is again almost something it's built on the JMeter architecture. So like JMeter does not have that option. So Neoload also does not have that option. Maybe they can bring it in a later point of time, but I would say, I mean, since these protocols that they support, right? So they all fall under the same category, which is the web category. So there is no need of bringing multiple protocol inside it. I think I've answered your question, and yep, does not exist. Collaborate. So okay, fine. I'll get this for you later. But I mean, this collaboration settings, we'll see that separately. But for now, let's go with the very basic Neoload thing. So I'm going to create. I've created a new project, and I'm clicking on Finish. So this will actually create a project space for me. And here is your project space where you're going to create your first project. You have several options here. And one important thing that you have to know here is, I mean, like you can go anywhere. Like if you can go to edit preferences, go to the edit preferences, and here you have lots of options in terms of general settings. So if you see here, your HTTP should fall under this particular port, which is 8090, and you must have your certificate ready. For me, I have, since I updated several times, the certificate thing, I have installed it. If you haven't not installed it, please do install it, or else you won't be able to record your scripts. And after that, these are some of the patterns to include or exclude, which you might have seen in Neoload as well, where if you want to exclude particular patterns, if you choose them, automatically they won't be getting recorded as part of your scripting. So this is that particular option. And then you have the proxy settings. Say, for example, if you are sitting inside your client network. So in that case, you'll be having your proxy part, right? Where you want to get you have to connect your proxy. So say, for example, if I'm using this particular proxy, I can give this name and I have to use the proxy. For example, if you're in a network, client network, you have to use your client business. I mean, you can find that in the browser. So just copy that address and paste it here. And if you want to really use any manual settings, then you can go very well here, and then you can give the manual settings. And then if your proxy needs any authentication, then you have to give this. So all these things you might not know now, but the moment you hit this issue, then you will be really just one thing. Try to replicate whatever you have in your browser. So that's one simple thought which I would say. Whatever you see in your browser, just replicate that in the proxy part here. So make sure you're using this proxy, because this has two proxy. One is the internal proxy, which will connect you to the external world, and the application proxy is which will connect you to the applications. So it has to be like both an inbound and outbound rule. And then you have the browsers. Click no. Okay, browsers. You if your application, so by default, I think you get to have Internet Explorer. But apart from that, if your application or if your end users are using if your end users are using Firefox or Chrome, so in that case, you might need to install it. And once you install it, once you have it installed in your machine, um, click on Add, go to the path, and you might see that in your program files, right? So that's a very common thing. So go to your program files. Where am I? And for example, Google. Yep. For Chrome, I'm doing this. Okay, it's not in program files, and it should be in program files thing. Google. Yep. Here, Chrome application, and select the chrome.exe, and that will bring the Chrome for you, and give the name, and you can give the version here, and then the path will be there. And if you want to keep that particular browser as your default, then you can choose the default. So anytime when you want to create script, automatically your recording will start in the default browser. If you do not want it, that should be fine. While you are recording, you can change that settings. And then here we have the appearance. This is again something it depends on this particular GUI which you're seeing. So if you want, you can change it. That's not a big deal. And then the graphs. So this is something where we can see the granularity. So this is one important thing in terms of interview or in terms of your certification. You will definitely get a kind of question for this, which is where you will set the granularity for your graph. Say, for example, what happens is when you are setting highest granularity, which means you're going to collect more number of data, which is like you'll be collecting every single data for every single millisecond, which means you're going to collect more number of data. And when you are collecting lowest, what happens is there will be less number of data, which will not allow you to correlate, or which will not allow you to understand how does the data works. So it's always better to have a standard. So what happens is like it will get the data or the request or the response for every like 5 milliseconds at like 10 milliseconds. So that are like uh, it will be kind of a standard, a generalized set of data you get. And yeah, again, this is another one thing. So after your test completes, you'll get a prompt to copy runtime graph boards to research section. If you want to change it, you can change it, or else you can just keep a prompt to copy so that you can ignore it if you don't want to copy it. And then the runtime graphs section. So this I'll show you. This is like for like for the last 60 minutes, you will be able to see the window. Like say, for example, for the last 60 minutes, what it has happened, so that you get an idea like what is really working on and what is not working. And if you can like find the errors, you can find the spike in the response times, the deep, everything you can find it. And update granularity when zooming, so you can actually watch this. If you really want to zoom your graph and you want to watch it, then you can very well choose this option. And frameworks, yes, this is another important one, because we all know about the correlation concept, and Neoload has this advantage. So you can actually create a framework, and if you use this, so if I say, for example, if you're creating a script, and then you'll have a similar set of business functions, like say, for example, like 5 to 10 scripts. So and when you're creating your frameworks, right, automatically what happens is Neoload will understand that, and it will automatically correlate, because by default Neoload has the other frameworks section, right? So like for .NET, for ADF, for AMF, for I think BSG is what I created, and Citrix I created, and custom framework I have created. But all these others are like the Neoload's inbuilt framework. So anytime when an application gets loaded, automatically these values will be correlated. So the same thing happens with these particular frameworks. So what all you have to do is you have to create your frameworks for the first time, and after that you can reuse it. And even you can send it to your team as well. If you want to export, you can just export it, and you can send it to your team members. So you can actually share it across your team member, and they can also use it. And in fact, you know what, I have got a very good appraisal by sharing this knowledge to my team when I was working with Neoload. So what did you can also use that technique. So what did I do is actually I have created the frameworks, and then I have shared it with my team, and then I have told that, see, I have saved a lot of human effort by creating frameworks and the team's effort as well. So it's a clue for you. I think it's appraisal time, so you can use this as well in your team. But yeah, again, coming back to the point, so frameworks are a catch point in Neoload. Again, other tools like JMeter or Neoload Runner does not have this option. So frameworks, in terms of frameworks, Neoload has this upper hand. Can you please show us how to add a custom framework? I'll do it, Revant. I'll do it. No worries. And then Neotis team server, where we do set up the Neotis team server. So if your project has the Neotis team server, say for example, if you want to upload your project to common repository, Neotis also has a team server, so where you can upload and download the project from to and from the common kind of a centralized repository. And then we do have Neoload Web. Yes, most of us know. We do have the Neoload Web, where we can use the SaaS version of Neoload Web, where you can run the test, where you can use the Neoload load generators. And then the licensing part, yep, we can very well use the licensing part. So by default, I'm using a free license for now from Neoload. And then the collaboration, where you can, like I told you, you can use Azure DevOps, GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket, or whatever. There are like any third-party servers you can connect it. And then the Oracle Forms, rest everything is fine. REST API advanced, this should be fine. Fine.